I didn't plan to ruin my fiancé's wedding day, but when I found out who he was cheating with, I realized I didn't have a choice. Hi. I'm Maya. I'm 28, and up until a few months ago, I really thought my life was finally steady. I had a good job in marketing, a tiny but cute apartment, a close circle of friends, and, most importantly, a fiancé I thought I was going to spend my life with. His name is Daniel. 32, charming, the kind of guy who could make a room laugh in under a minute. He worked in tech, always super busy, always on a call, the usual. We met at a friend's game night, and he swept me off my feet so fast my head spun. He remembered little things about me. The way I take my coffee. My irrational fear of pigeons. The fact that I cry at dog commercials. He'd text me good morning, good night. He'd buy my favorite snacks just because. He made me feel chosen. And for a girl who spent most of her early 20s dating walking red flags, that feeling was addictive. After 3 years, he proposed. Rooftop dinner, fairy lights, the whole cliché. I cried, said yes, we took pictures, and everyone on Instagram told us we were goals. I thought this was it. I was done. I had found my person. I didn't realize my person was also collecting other people on the side. It started with something small. Isn't it always something small? One Tuesday evening, we were at his apartment. I was sitting on the couch with my laptop, half working, half watching a true crime doc in the background. He was in the shower, getting ready for a late meeting with a client, something that was becoming way more common than I liked. His phone buzzed on the coffee table. Now, I'm not the snooping type. Honestly, I've always hated that feeling of paranoia. But the way it buzzed, once, twice, then 3, 4, 5 times, like whoever it was really wanted his attention. The screen lit up. A preview popped up. Can't stop thinking about you last night, my stomach dropped. I froze. That familiar internal voice started screaming, don't read it. Don't jump to conclusions. It could be a friend. A joke. A wrong number. Then it buzzed again. This time all I saw was the name, S, with a heart emoji. My heart started pounding so loudly I could hear it in my ears. I glanced at the bathroom door. Water was still running. I swallowed hard, picked up his phone, and opened the message. The chat was not from a coworker. Not a joke. Definitely not a wrong number. It was a full-blown sex thread. Messages from the night before, her, I miss your hands on me. Him, just a few more weeks and I'll be all yours for a whole weekend. Promise. My hand started shaking. I scrolled. Photos. Her in lingerie. Him replying with exactly the kind of words he'd never say to me, like he had a whole other personality. Maybe this is old, I thought. Maybe this is from before we were engaged, before we were serious, something he just never deleted. Then I saw the timestamp. 2 days ago. While he was working late. I felt like the floor had disappeared. I kept scrolling, reading the texts like I was watching someone else's life fall apart. Her, you sure she won't find out? Him, Maya? No. She trusts me too much. Don't worry, baby. That's when the anger hit. Like a match being dragged across sandpaper, catching, blazing. The shower turned off. Panic rushed through me. I locked the phone, put it back exactly where it was, and closed my laptop like nothing happened. My heartbeat still slammed against my ribs, but I forced my face into something neutral. He walked out of the bathroom with a towel round his waist, hair wet, acting like everything was normal. Hey, you still here? He said, grinning. Thought you'd be at home by now. Yeah, I croaked. Just finishing up some stuff. He wandered over to the table, picked up his phone, glanced at it, and then quickly flipped it face down. That tiny action told me everything I needed to know. I felt nauseous. Everything okay? He asked. I looked at him. Really looked. At the man who had just promised another woman he'd be all hers while planning a life with me. But I swallowed it. Forced a smile. Yeah, I said again. Everything's fine. Because right then, I knew I needed more than a confrontation. I needed proof. A plan. And, eventually? Revenge. That night, I barely slept. I lay awake, replaying every late meeting, every business trip he insisted he had to go on alone, every time he'd gotten irritated when I asked a completely reasonable question. It was like the puzzle pieces finally snapped together, and what they formed was a picture I didn't want but couldn't ignore. The next day, I did something I never thought I'd do. I went full detective. I knew her name only as S. Redheart, but I remembered a few details from the messages. She mentioned grading assignments, she joked about no more dating apps now that I've got you, she referenced a campus bar teacher. College connection? I opened Instagram. I searched his followers for anyone whose name started with S. There were a lot. But one stood out. Sophia. Her profile picture was her in a classroom, smiling with a stack of notebooks. Her bio, English Lit TA. Coffee, cats, and chaos. I clicked. And there he was. Daniel. In her likes. Under multiple photos. Under a selfie captioned, "When your favorite person surprises you after class." My chest tightened. Her favorite person. I kept scrolling. Stories of date nights, but never his face. Just 2 drinks, 2 plates, his hand, maybe a jacket. Comments from him, "Can't wait to see you again." Her replies, "My favorite." It felt like stabbing myself over and over with my own curiosity. I should have stopped. I didn't. I clicked on one of her tagged photos. There he was. Full face. Arm around her. Same smile he gave me. Same smile he used when he proposed. The caption, "So grateful for this man. You keep me sane in the middle of chaos." Tagged at Daniel, with his real handle. I felt like I couldn't breathe. This wasn't just a fling. He was in a relationship with her. Romantic dates, campus visits, inside jokes. From the timestamps, it looked like it started at least 6 months ago. We'd been engaged for 4. So, yes. They overlap. He was building a life with me and a fantasy with her at the same time. I had a choice. Option A, confront him immediately. Scream, cry, throw the ring, pack my stuff, leave. Option B, gather everything. Make sure when I walked away, I didn't just walk away in tears, I walked away on my terms, with my dignity, my sanity, and maybe just a little bit of justice. I picked option B. I started small. I took screenshots. Every message. Every photo. Every baby and miss you. I backed them up to my cloud. Then I started paying attention. When he texted, "Going to be late, client call," I'd check Sophia's stories. There he'd be, in the background, sitting at the same cafe we used to go to, laughing with her. He was sloppy. So sloppy. Part of me hoped I'd find out I was wrong. That somehow, this was a misunderstanding. But no. Every new screenshot was another nail in the coffin of our relationship. Then one day, I overheard a conversation that lit the final fuse. We were at dinner with his parents, going over wedding details. His mom was excitedly talking about floral arrangements and how she'd rented this venue for the rehearsal dinner. I excused myself to the bathroom. On my way back, I heard his voice in the hallway, low and harsh. "No, I told you I'm with family right now," he hissed. "I can't call you, sophomore, stop being needy." I stopped in my tracks. His back was to me. He didn't know I was there. He sighed. "Yes, of course I love you. You know I do. Look, I'm not backing out. The wedding isn't, this is complicated." Something in me just clicked off. The sadness, the confusion, it burned away, leaving something colder behind. When he ended the call and turned around, he jumped. "Oh, hey," he said, trying to school his face back into something calm. "You okay?" I stared at him. "Yes," I said softly. "I'm fine." But in my head, the words were different. I know. I know everything. And that's when I started planning my revenge. You have to understand something about me. I am not naturally vindictive. I'm the let's talk it out friend. The mediator. The one who tells people be the bigger person. But being the bigger person felt like letting him walk away with the narrative, with the sympathy, with the idea that I was just a fragile little thing who got her heart broken. I wanted the truth out there. And funnily enough, he handed me the perfect stage. One night, while we were going over wedding logistics, he mentioned the idea of an engagement party/pre-wedding celebration. "Just something small," he said. "Close friends. We can do it at that rooftop bar you love." "Who would we invite?" I asked, casually. "Your friends, mine, maybe a few coworkers, family, obviously." "And Sophia?" I asked. The way he flinched was microscopic, but I saw it. "Sophia?" he echoed. "Yeah," I said, smiling. "You've mentioned her before. The TA you've been mentoring? The one who comments on all your Instagram posts?" He relaxed a bit. Oh. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, that might be weird. She's just, work stuff. Oh, okay, I nodded. No worries. Just asking. But the idea had already taken root. What if there was a party? What if everyone he'd lied to, his parents, my family, our mutual friends, were all in one place? What if the story didn't come out in a messy, he said she said fight, but in one clean, undeniable, in his own words kind of reveal? So that's what I did. Instead of an engagement party, I planned a wedding rehearsal mixer. I told him it was my idea. That I wanted everyone to meet and feel comfortable before the big day. He loved it. We booked a private room at that rooftop bar. Lights, soft music, canapes, the whole thing. I told my parents, his parents, our friends it was all very normal from the outside. Behind the scenes, though? I was laying tripwires. I created a slideshow. On the surface, it was normal, childhood photos of me, old pictures of us as a couple, our vacations, us hugging at parties. But in between those slides I inserted screenshots. Carefully curated screenshots. A text where he told Sophia, I wish she'd cancel the wedding. I hate lying, but I don't want to lose you. A selfie of him in bed, clearly not alone, timestamped from a night he told me he was crashing at a friend's. A screenshot where she wrote, think your mom will like me more than her, and he replied, my mom will love you once this is all over. Every slide was another lie exposed. I gave the slideshow a sweet name, Our Story, The Journey of Daniel and Maya. He didn't even ask to see it beforehand. He trusted me. The irony wasn't lost on me. The night of the mixer, I wore the dress he said he loved on me the most. Soft blue, simple, with a neckline he always said made me look like wifey material. He arrived looking handsome and confident, kissing my cheek, wrapping an arm around my waist. You did all this, he murmured, looking around at the candles, the reserved sign with our names, the projector set up at the front. Yeah, I said. I wanted it to be special. We greeted guests. His parents hugged me. My mother squeezed my hand and whispered, you're glowing, baby. My best friend, Tasha, gave me a look that said, are you sure you're okay? She was the only one I had told everything to. Are you ready? She mouthed. I nodded. When everyone had arrived, one of our friends clinked a glass and called for attention. Okay, everyone. Before the food comes out, Maya put together a little slideshow for us. She wanted to share their love story. I stepped forward, hands trembling just enough to feel it, but not enough for anyone else to see. Hi, everyone, I began. Thank you all so much for being here to celebrate with us. I wanted to show you what the last few years have been like, and what our journey has really looked like. So, here we go. I clicked the remote. The first few slides were sweet. Baby pictures of me. Photos of Daniel and me at the beach. Selfies at brunch. People audition. His mom dabbed at her eyes. My dad laughed at a photo of me with braces. Then the next slide came. White background. At the top, a screenshot of Daniel's messages. Can't stop thinking about you. Last night the room went quiet. At first, I think people assumed it was a joke. Then another slide. Sophia's selfie in lingerie, cropped to be PG enough, but clearly intimate. Her message, you sure she won't find out? His reply, Maya? No. She trusts me too much. Don't worry, baby. A murmur went through the crowd. I heard his mother gasp. My heart was pounding so hard I could barely hear my own voice, but I forced myself to speak. This, I said, is also part of our story. Turn it off, Daniel hissed under his breath, stepping toward me. His face had gone bone white. I took a step back. Why? It's all you, right? This is your love story too. I clicked again. Slide after slide. Screenshots. Dates. Times. Texts where he told her he loved her. Texts where he called me the obstacle. A picture of them together at that campus bar he said was just near the office. People were shifting, whispering. Someone whispered, oh my God. Another said, is this real? His dad stood up, furious. Daniel, what is this? He demanded. Daniel lunged for the laptop, but Tasha stepped between us, planting a hand on his chest. Don't even think about it, she said, voice ice cold. I turned to the room, my eyes burning but my voice surprisingly steady. I found out a few weeks ago that Daniel has been cheating on me, I said. Not just once. Not just a drunk mistake. He has an entire second relationship with a woman named Sophia. I pressed the remote again. Up came the photo of the two of them, arm in arm, from her profile. He told her he loved her. He told her he wished I'd cancel the wedding so he didn't have to be the bad guy. He told her his mom would love her once this was all over. I looked straight at his mother as I said it. She put a hand to her mouth, tears spilling over. I wanted you all to hear it from him, I continued. In his own words. Because I've spent the last few years believing I was building a life with someone honest. Someone loyal. Someone who wouldn't humiliate me like this. I took a deep breath. But apparently, I was wrong. Daniel exploded. Maya, what the hell is this? He shouted. You're overreacting. You're making me look like some kind of monster in front of everyone. I stared at him, incredulous. Overreacting? I echoed. You've been telling another woman you love her while planning a wedding with me. How am I supposed to react? Bake a cake? Laughter sharp, nervous, disbelieving rippled through a few guests. He jabbed a finger at the screen. This is insane, he said. You're being dramatic. You could have just talked to me. Oh, we're doing that? I cut in. We're doing the you could have talked to me speech? Like you talked to me when you started sleeping with her? When you started telling her you'd be all hers after this was over? He faltered, his mouth opening and closing. His father stepped forward. Is it true? He demanded. You cheated on her? With this woman? Daniel rubbed his face, looking around desperately, like he was trying to find some exit, some excuse. It's not that simple, he uttered. You don't understand. Oh, I think we do, my dad said quietly. You lied to my daughter. 4 months. That seems pretty simple to me. The room had turned against him. You could feel it, like a shift in air pressure. I picked up the small velvet box sitting on the table. Our engagement ring. I turned it over in my hands, feeling the weight of it, the meaning it once held. I'm not marrying you, I said, clearly. There will be no wedding. Someone gasped. I walked over to him. He stared at me, eyes wild. Maya, don't do this, he whispered. We can talk about it. Please. You can't just throw everything away over I'm not the one who threw it away, I said softly. Then I placed the ring in his shirt pocket. Consider this my final gift, I said. You can pawn it to fund your next weekend getaway with whoever you're lying to next. Tasha reached for my hand. Ready? She murmured. Yeah, I replied. I turned back once more to the room. I'm sorry you all had to see this, I said. But I didn't want to disappear quietly and let him control the narrative. I wanted you to know the truth. About him. About us. About why there's no wedding. I looked at his mother. I loved your son. I really did. I hope one day he becomes the man you think he already is. Then I looked back at Daniel. And I hope, for your sake, you never meet someone who treats you the way you treated me and Sophia. And with that, I walked out. In the weeks that followed, everything kind of imploded for him. His parents were furious, not just about the cheating, but about the lying, the manipulation, the way he tried to turn it around on me. My parents cut contact with him entirely. Mutual friends took sides. To my surprise, most of them quietly messaged me like, hey. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. That was brutal, but you did what you had to do. I later heard through the grapevine that Sophia found out too. Whether she saw the slideshow herself or he tried to spin it, I'm not sure, but she apparently dumped him, harshly. Blocked him on everything. When you realize you're not the one but one of many, it hits differently. Last I heard, he'd transferred departments at work and moved to a smaller apartment across town. His shining perfect fiancé image? Gone. Do I feel bad about how it went down? Sometimes, late at night, I replay that rooftop scene in my head. The look on his face. His mom crying. My dad's disappointment. That air of heavy, shared embarrassment. And yeah, a part of me aches. I wish none of it had been necessary. But then I remember myself, sitting on his couch, reading those texts for the first time. Feeling small, stupid. Betrayed. I remember him telling her, she trusts me too much. And I realize no. I don't regret it. Because I might have loved him. I might have planned a future with him. But I will never again let someone write me into their story as a fool. If I'm going to be in a story, I'd rather be the one who gets up, walks out, and chooses herself. So yeah. That's how I went from bride-to-be to the woman who cancelled her own wedding in front of everyone and exposed her cheating fiancé using his own screenshots. Do I recommend making a whole slideshow for every breakup? No. But if you're ever in a situation where someone is lying to you, gaslighting you, and making you feel like paranoia is worse than betrayal, remember this: you're not crazy for connecting dots. You're not dramatic for asking questions. And you're definitely not wrong for walking away from someone who doesn't respect you. I lost a fiancé, but I got my self-respect back. And honestly, that feels like the best revenge of all. If you made it this far, thanks for listening to my story. What would you have done in my place? Quietly walk away or go full slideshow revenge? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another tale from Well Tall Tales. Until next time, stay safe, trust your gut, and remember, some stories are warnings.